Hi everyone, it's about 6:30 and this is your closing comment. It's video number 481. And as always, I remind you, if you like the work, hit that subscribe button and help us out. Okay, so today was kind of interesting. We were down, we were up, we were down, and we finished up 152.84, or a little over a half a percent. The NASDAQ was noticeably weak, and while up, it was only up 21.32, or less than 0.2%. The S&P was up a half a percent, 17.93. The big winner today was the Russell, up 26.48, 1.65%, and transports were up also 0.2%, 23.53. Okay, there was a lot of news out today, some of it a little unexpected as far as the action. After the close, Gilead announced that the FDA had approved remdesivir for COVID. And remarkably, the stock did very little. It had closed at about 67, and it traded up as high as 64.5, and the last that I saw was 62.97, up 277, or 4.63%. On the earnings front, let's see, Align, the company that does Invisalign instead of braces, reported had a monster beat, both earnings, revenues, and forward guidance. And the stock, which, if you'll recall, had a huge run, got to 398 and change, and then all of a sudden was out of favor, got back down to 127, and today it traded as high as 459. That was a pretty decent move, and it closed 453.01, and that was up 117.20, or 34.6%. That's a monster of a report. Citrix, CTXS, beat top, bottom. Revenue was a little below the street's consensus, not the company's projection. And the stock went from 173 to 144 recently in Q2. In Q2, the last report, the stock went from 173 to 144. Today, it had a range of 136 to 126, and it closed on the bottom there, 126, down 10.56, or 7.6%. Tractor Supply, also a beat top, a beat bottom, has come down in the last 2 weeks or so from 157 to 149. Today closed 137.80, down 11.32, or 7.6%, which is, a monstrous move for a beat. And I'll remind everyone, this is exactly why I don't play earnings. They're a coin toss, and you just never know. You can have it right and still end up on the short end. Union Pacific, also down. 187.58, down 12.34, 6.2%. Kimberly Clark, a miss on earnings, but a beat on revenues. And you would think that a paper manufacturer, coming out of the amazing amount of stockpiling of product, would have acted a little better. closed 138.79, down $9.59 or 6.46%. Mattel had a beat top and bottom. It had closed at 12.92, up 47. Continued further after the close to 14.45. Last I saw was 13.75, up $1.31, 6.4%. But the biggest loser of all, Intel. Intel beat, but the metrics were incredibly poor. You have to remember that last quarter, Intel missed. The stock went from 62 to 46.97. Today, it had closed at 53.90, up 40 cents. And then on the announcement of the beat, jumped up to 55.68, then turned south and traded down to 48. The last is 48.55, down 4.95 or 9.25%. So again, this is why I don't play earnings. There are easier ways to lose your money. You can go to Las Vegas if you're willing to get on a plane. Okay, so the chart on the screen is the dollar index, and it bounced today right off that area, off yesterday's low, which was right back into this, excuse me, 92.40, 92.50 area. So it bounced, and it was up roughly 3/8 of a dollar, so up 36.5 cents. But it's pretty unimpressive that after this break that we had an inside day, higher low, lower high. So really kind of a meaningless day. When the claims numbers came out, and they were as good as they were, in case you didn't hear, the initial claims were down in the 787,000 area. So another break to the downside below. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about under 1 million. Now we're under 800,000, and that's pretty decent. But it's still a high number. It's a decent number on a relative basis. And continuing claims actually was also down. And the market took that as maybe we don't need as much stimulus, and maybe things are getting better. And so the gold, which was down a little, when I say a little, I'm talking about, $2, $3 on a $1,900 commodity, which, as I mentioned last night and this morning, bounced off that moving average here, the 50-day. We went all the way down, got back to the base of this little consolidation here, and closed at 1904.60, which was down a shade under $25 an ounce, and the low for the day was 18.94. So we're getting awfully close to these little bottoms, and more importantly, this is the 100-day moving average. We hit it, bounced, hit it again, and started up. We came close here. We came close here. Looks like we're going to come close here. And if we get a move over, let's say, a close, maybe over yesterday's, which was 1929. So 1930, 1932 on the upside probably breaks us out and moves us higher. But the big star today was, again, Bitcoin. Paul Tudor Jones, well known, well respected, was talking this morning about it in an interview on CNBC, had some very interesting comments, considers this Bitcoin now to be what he missed the last time around on big growth and big tech. As you can see, yesterday we were up massively, up 785. Today we continued further, up 400, and tonight we're slightly higher, up 50. Again, just to give you a better picture of what this looks like, we are back to basically the highest close since 15,000, because on each of these other days on the downside, or when we were moving up, this day we were as high as 13.9, but we closed at we closed at 11,745. Same situation here. We got all the way back to 13,500, but closed down here at 11,700. So except for this little close here that I've been keying off, which was 11,935, this is the highest close on a weekly basis if it closes anywhere near here tomorrow. Okay, everyone, there's all that I have for you tonight. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Oh, by the way, we took profits on, we had some QQQ puts. Unfortunately, they expire tomorrow, so I didn't want to take the risk into the last day. I actually don't like to be in them past about Wednesday. And I certainly don't want to be in a $4 option going into expiration when the market could easily rally. So we sold them. They cost us $293. We had executions from 411 to 422, and we booked the profit. And the only position we have going into tomorrow is some November CVS calls. All right, everyone, have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning. Don't forget to hit the subscribe.